deep, and it's credit to the boys. We're going to Wembley now.
It's pretty hard, to accept at the moment that we're out.
It wasn't pretty at times, but we want to get to Wembley, so everyone's very happy.
Richards, what a good team performance that was out there today.
Yeah, Saints, they threw everything at us in the first half. They had a fair amount of possession, and we really had to dig deep, and it's credit to the boys. We're going to Wembley now.
George, you really seemed to soak up some early pressure there in the game, and then came back and put some points on the board.
Yeah, we did. It's one of those games where everyone had to play their part. I think everyone did play their part, and we come away with the win.
Yeah, it was a very, very tough game. They threw a lot at us, especially in that first half, but we handled it well. And we've come out on top and we've got the reward, which is going to Wembley and having a crack at whoever comes through the next semi-final.
Did you expect to soak up quite so much pressure in a game like this, or is that something something you plan for?
You don't plan for it, but I think you always these games, they're always tough games, and you're never going to run away with these games. There's a lot at stake, and both teams are going to fight to the death for the result. So it's hard to plan for that, but I think we weren't expecting a game where we were going to run away scoring 30-40 points like we have done over some games this season. But we've come through that. They asked a lot of questions of us, and we've come through it good.
You were Super League champions last year. How much focus has been on the Challenge Cup this year and getting down to Wembley and giving yourselves a chance of winning this cup?
Most probably a bit more than usual than last year. For Wigan, supporters, they'd rather win this one than the main one. So there's a lot of went into it. The coaching staff have been awesome. The last two Challenge Cup games, coached us really well and gave us a good game plan today. And just happy for everyone.
I know you're 18 minutes away from lifting this famous old trophy, but if you did, how much would that mean to you on a personal level and to Wigan as a club?
Yeah, to me personally, I'd love to go to Wembley and win it. And as a club, I think everyone knows Wiganers. They talk about Challenge Cup. They're used to going down to the Challenge Cup. I think they went 8 years in a row, and all the old people around town, they really want to go back down there. So I'm happy that we're giving them the opportunity to go back down there, but we want to come back with some silverware.
Yeah, very tough to take. Very good game. Thought it was quite a high quality game, especially for a semi-final. Just the way it goes, deserved winners Wigan on the day.
You seemed to dominate for long periods, early in the game. You just didn't seem to be able to convert your territory into points, really.
Yeah, but that's what happens sometimes when you're playing against champion teams. It might take 60-70 minutes before you break them down, and we broke them down, but we're only with 10-15 minutes to go.
Words are pretty cheap, but we're going to have a real crack at this grand final now, and I think it's only right that we're at the end of the season, and there's a few vital players leaving at the end of the year, and a few boys, who've really helped me along with my game, and me personally, I know I'm only a young boy, but I think I owe it to a few of these senior boys for put a few big performances in and try to get some silverware.
I was just going to ask you what was said in the dressing room, because I guess the mark of true champions, how you respond to results like this.
Yeah, well, I think we're pretty lucky. We've got a lot of quality senior players in our team who lead young blokes like me and Tommy Makinson, Johnny Lomax around, and when they speak, we usually listen and follow suit, and I just hope that it's pretty hard to accept at the moment that we're out. I've dreamed of playing at Wembley for a long time, but like you say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I'm sure we'll be back.
It was a bit of a strange game from you guys' point of view. You had long periods of possession that you didn't seem to be able to turn into points, and then you were kind of on the back foot and you went over twice.
Yeah, I remember I looked at the clock there. I think it was like 25 minutes, 30 minutes gone, and you kind of have a feel of how the game's going. Wigan looked really tired. We really had them on the back foot for quite a while, and we burned a few chances down their end, and what we really should have took, we could have been maybe 16-18 points in front of them, and it's a different ball game then, but we didn't manage to get over, and in these big games you really need to cross that whitewash, especially against like your Wigans, your Warringtons, your Leeds, and you've really got to take them chances, and we just didn't do it today, unfortunately.